These choices include a lot of very strong punctuation marks. The colon, the semicolon, the period, these are all ways of sometimes connecting sentences. Not always, we've got some exceptions, but the first thing I would notice is that C and D in most cases are going to be the same. The reason that we use a semicolon is mostly to connect two complete sentences, and that's exactly what a period does, right? It's a way of separating two complete sentences. So we have to think about that as we're going through these choices. That might mean that both are wrong, since grammatically they're almost always the exact same thing. They have the same function. So let's see what else is going on here. A study published by Rice University geoscientist Ming Tang in 2019 offers a new explanation for the origin of Earth's continents. Geological structures called arcs, towering ridges that form when a dense oceanic plate subducts under a less dense continental plate, melts in the mantle below, and then rises and bursts through the continental crust above. Well, that's a long sentence. Hopefully you can already hear that we need a break here. So A has no punctuation at all. There's no indication that we're kind of ending a thought here, and that's not good. We need something. So A is not going to be right. The first sentence here, a study published by Rice University geoscientist Ming Tang in 2019 offers a new explanation for the origin of Earth's continents. That's what we're saying. Then what's happening is they're defining that, or I should say they are defining the new explanation, right? So what is the new explanation? There are structures called arcs that melt in the mantle below and then rise and burst through the continental crust above. Geological structures called arcs. Towering ridges that form when a dense oceanic plate subducts under a less... Oh, it's a list. Towering ridges that form when a dense oceanic plate subducts under a less dense continental plate, melts in the mantle below, subducts, melts, rises and bursts. Wow, this is a disaster of a sentence. See, this is the thing about the SAT is they give you sentences that are very poorly written because they're so dense with information. Now, they're grammatically correct, but gosh, no one would write like this. This is just bad writing in my opinion. The answer, though, is B. Now, the reason is that the second part is not a sentence. It's long, but it is basically just one long definition, right? Structures called arcs. Towering ridges, that's the new explanation. So what's the new explanation? The structure is called arcs. Then what are the arcs? They're towering ridges that form when a dense oceanic plate does three things. It subducts, it melts, and rises and bursts. So it's a lot of description. The point is none of it in this part acts as its own sentence. There is no subject verb that could kind of make something stand alone as a sentence. It's long, but if you kind of break it down, you see that the only part that matters at the beginning here is not a sentence. It's just a noun. And so that's why we need the colon. Is what the colon lets us do is the second part kind of answers or explains a question that's raised by the first part. It's not a literal question, but we could easily come up with it, and that's definitely what this green portion is doing, right? The study offers a new explanation for the origin of Earth's continents. What is that explanation? The arcs. So it's definitely setting us up. And like I said at the beginning, C and D are not right because they're kind of the same thing, but also because that second part isn't a sentence, so we wouldn't be able to use these things anyway. But just using the strategy of a semicolon and a period most of the time being the exact same thing, that might have helped you get this right, even if you had no clue what else was going on, because then you could eliminate C and D because of the strategy, and then you probably at the very least know that we need something there because nothing doesn't really make sense either. There's clearly some sort of separation, and hopefully if you heard that, you'd be like, okay, well, I don't know why it's a colon, but I'm going to pick it anyway, and that's honestly okay on a hard question like this.